Right.
It's a bad deal. It's not fair.
So let me ask you, what do you look for in a woman? Like, because I want to hear that from you. Like when you think about like your ideal women, and I want to hear from like all sides, but especially yours. Mm-hmm. What's your ideal woman? What do you look for?
Genuine organic desire, unnegotiated, genuine organic desire. I want to own her soul, right? It's now because everybody. So I'm not going to contradict Myron here, but like I'm going to go take this one step further. I don't want obligated compliance. I wasn't like trying to interrupt you and shit on you or anything like that. I'm just saying that the reason why that wouldn't work is because if I have to go to you in the first place to say, take these pictures off, or if I have to bring that up, what that says to me is you haven't figured it, you don't have the insight to know that I'm with this guy. This is the guy he's the best I can do. He's the one I want to be with. He's the guy whose babies I want to have in the future. And I will already know that it's like, okay, well, now I'm done. I don't want any other guy other than this guy. So I don't need Instagram anymore. I don't need this stuff anymore. I don't need to do, or maybe you still keep Instagram, but you take those pictures off because you have already settled on the guy who is the one you have a natural desire for. You cannot negotiate genuine desire, because all negotiation does is lead to obligated compliance. So whenever if a guy comes to you and says, hey, baby, I really want you to take those pictures off, you say, well, that's insecure. Yeah, it is. You know why it's insecure? Because he had to go to you in the first place.
Obligations are not appreciated.
Exactly. You should know. You should want to actually take those off without even being asked, because that shows genuine, organic, natural desire for that guy. I'll explain really quickly here. There's a difference between it's time to have kids. My biological clock is ticking. There's a difference between I want to have kids and I want to have his babies.
Yeah.
That's a difference. I always use this as the example. You guys know who Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes, right? So Eva Mendes got to be like I think she's like mid 30s or 40s right now, right? And she's like, I don't want to have kids. I never wanted to have kids until she got with Ryan Gosling. Yeah. And now she's like, I want to have kids. I want to have his babies. Yeah. She's like, that's the kind of girl who goes, Instagram, delete that app. Because she's with the best that she can do. And the reason why we're even having this conversation right now is because any guy that steps into your life, you always have that doubt. Is this guy really the best that I can do? Because if he's not, I really need to keep Instagram here just in case. I got to hedge my fucking bets, because if I don't, and he turns out to be not the right guy, or the guy who's going to ask me to take him off and be controlling, or all this shit that we've been talking about up to this point, if he turns out not to be that guy, well, at least I still got my Instagram, and there's a few other guys who are sliding into my DMs, and maybe that guy will end up being the right guy, but he'll never will, because it's always about negotiating genuine desire. Yeah. You should already want to take those pictures off because that guy does it for you. So he is that guy.
Here's an example, right? Just to illustrate what he's saying. So I met a girl, right? And I met her in the club, surprisingly. And she took a liking to me. We went out, had a great time. And first thing, what did she do? Start going to the club. I was like, you don't want to go out? No, I just want to be with you. I was like, okay, cool. Then she stopped posting as regular on Instagram. I didn't tell her to do anything. She did it on her own. Secondly, start cleaning the house, doing chores around for me out of desire. But guess what? Me going to her directly and saying, hey, don't post it, wasn't a thing. She wanted to do it because she wanted to see me as a viable option, like you're saying before. So that being said, we're just saying, look, if you really care about that guy, you're not going to let your I want to say emotional, or like your own standard to say, hey, you know what? Fuck this nigga and his feelings. I'm gonna do what I want. Right. Nah, you're gonna be like, you know what? Damn, this nigga's worth it. He's taking care of me. He's about his lifestyle. I want to be with him.
Chat, chill. I said that though. I said that a conversation is in order. I definitely said. I said that a conversation is in order if I think that man is worth it.
You did, but they said fuck his feelings.
If he's worth it,
I'm gonna do what I want.
Then the conversation is in order. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna automatically comply.
Look. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, most men of this caliber, they'll say, yeah, cool. You're independent. You do what you want, girl. Shout out to you. I'm going to just fuck you, and that's it. That's what they're going to do.
When you go to a restaurant and the service is bad or whatever, you most people will just leave the restaurant and they'll never come back to that restaurant again, right? They don't go to the say, here's what you did wrong and this is why I'm not coming back, right? They're not going to have that conversation. They're just they're going to vote with their feet, right? They're just going to leave, and you're never going to find out why it is that people won't come back to your restaurant. It's the same dynamic that's going on here. I don't want obligated compliance. I don't want people to go, well, I felt like I had to, so I did this anyways because I'm in such a need for a guy in my life that I'll go and do this. But boy, he certainly seems very, possessive and controlling and everything else. Yep. I don't want obligated compliance. And the guys who are high value enough are going to vote with their feet. You're never going to hear these guys say, well, you never took your pictures off of Instagram. You never showed me that you had any kind of real genuine desire. Yeah. Guys who are high value, they're just like, I'm on to the next one. Why would I even have that conversation with you to let you know what was going on? That's why I always say, like, when guys say, well, Rolo, how should I set boundaries? What should I say? You don't. You enforce boundaries, or you're out. That's how it works.
No, but I don't agree with that though.